Hey, Pastor Ken here. I've got a great passage this morning for you. You know, it's interesting to see, it's unfortunate to see in some of our big cities the riots that are going on, the harm that's coming to our law officers, the men and women who bravely serve to protect. To serve and protect is the motto, and they seem to be getting hurt in bunches, and we ask you would continue to pray for them and their families as they deal with this difficult time. It's frustrating to sit on the sidelines and watch and not want to be helpful and involved. We want the police to know how much we love and support our first responders, whether it's the police, firemen, or EMTs. We love all of them and pray for them. And it's shameful the way they are being treated and characterized across the nation. It brings me to our passage. We preached on this passage quite a few months ago. It's in Ezekiel. I know, I was like, yay, Ezekiel. We've been waiting to hear something out of Ezekiel. I know it's one of your favorite books. It's a major prophet from the Old Testament. He was given the task of warning Israel about the coming doom for their sin, that there was judgment coming because they had rejected God and pursued idols and things that were really, that God rejected altogether. And it's probably applicable to our time now, where we have a big portion of society has kind of rejected God and going about their own business. But the gist of it is not to read a passage about God's coming judgment on sinners. We all know that. We're all sinners and fall at the mercy of our Lord and ask for a personal relationship with Him and the saving grace of Jesus. But there's a great passage, and I love this passage, so I want to hit it again. It's in Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17 says this: Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the house of Israel. Whenever you hear a word from my mouth, you shall give them warning from me. And if you say to the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him no warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked ways in order to save his life, that wicked person shall die, and his iniquity, or for his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand. But if you warn the wicked, and he does not turn from his wickedness or from his wicked way, he shall die for his iniquity, but you shall have delivered your soul. Again, if a righteous person turns from his righteousness and commits injustice, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die, because you have not warned him. He shall die in his sin, and his righteous deed he has done shall not be remembered. His blood I will require at your hand. But if you warn the righteous person not to sin, and he does not sin, he shall surely live, because he took warning, and you have delivered your soul. Now, the gist of that, we don't want to get in too deep. You can look up one of my past sermons. It's called The Watchman, Ezekiel chapter 3, to get into more depth. But this is a great passage because it reminds us that as believers, if you're a believer out there, you have an obligation to share Christ's love in our community. You have an obligation to help people find Jesus. We're to be the watchman for our culture and society, and sometimes that means taking a hard stand. It's getting more difficult. There was a survey out that said that a lot of people are being quiet because we're scared to say anything because we feel the intimidation of whether the media or progressives or whatever it is that seem to jump all over anybody that has disagrees with them. But we have an obligation to stand up for what is right. We have an obligation to call people to look that God has a standard, a moral standard that we should follow. And we are the watchmen. We are the ones that God will use to bring His love to our communities. And without His love, there is no healing. Without revival in our country, it is going to be very, very difficult to get back to what we call normal. So my challenge to you this morning is to really maybe look this passage up, read it again, focus on it, and think about how you can help bring people to saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Well, have a great day, and may God bless you.